The Toronto Maple Leafs were one step away from one of the most impactful trades of the season. Mikko Rantanen could have worn blue and white, but one crucial detail made everything fall apart. And this decision could have huge consequences for the franchise's future. Matthew Knies started the season with one goal: to solidify his spot on the team. But instead, he found himself at the center of intense trade speculation. And it wasn't for just any player. We're talking about Mikko Rantanen, one of the most talented forwards in the NHL. The Leafs were working intensely behind the scenes. General Manager Brad Treliving needed to strengthen the team for the playoffs, and Rantanen was the perfect target. But to land the star, the price was high, and that's when the big controversy arose. According to sources close to the team, Toronto put together an aggressive package to convince the Carolina Hurricanes to release Rantanen. Fraser Minton, Easton Cowan, and a valuable set of first-round picks were on the table. But the Hurricanes wanted more. They demanded Matthew Knies. At that moment, Brad Treliving had to make one of the toughest decisions of his tenure. He kind of grew up right in front of our eyes. Treliving said about Knies, "He's a big part of our team now, and he's a unique player." The answer was a resounding no. Knies was not available, and the deal fell apart. The result? Rantanen ended up going to the Dallas Stars, and Toronto lost a chance to add an elite talent to the roster. But this story has more layers than it seems. Internally, Treliving's decision was not unanimous. Some voices within the organization argued that bringing in Rantanen could have been the move needed to turn the Leafs into true title contenders. After all, players like him don't become available often. And Knies? How did he handle all this? The player himself admitted that the uncertainty affected him. "It was a bit stressful," he revealed. "I wanted to stay here and be part of this group, but I try not to focus on it because it was out of my control." And here's a detail that few noticed. While the trade rumors swirled, Knies kept his head in the game and continued to perform at a high level. He already has 24 goals and 19 assists in 61 games, solidifying himself as a key piece on the front line alongside Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. What does this decision mean for the Leafs' future? Now, the big question is, did Toronto make the right choice by keeping Knies? Or should they have gone all in on Rantanen to strengthen the team immediately? If the Leafs are eliminated early in the playoffs, this decision could haunt Treliving. But if Knies continues his development and becomes a star, this could be remembered as one of the franchise's best bets. And what do you think? Did Toronto make the right move, or did they miss a huge opportunity? Comment below. The Toronto Marlies have just bolstered their roster with a physical winger who could make all the difference, even with the NHL trade deadline over. The Toronto Maple Leafs organization is still making moves behind the scenes. And this time, the action came in the AHL, where the team is looking to strengthen for the final stretch of the season. On Friday, the Toronto Marlies announced the acquisition of Brandon Baddock, an imposing forward coming from the Rockford Ice Hogs, the Chicago Blackhawks affiliate. The trade adds a power forward to the team, something essential after the losses suffered at the NHL deadline. But this move is even more intriguing than it seems. Why did the Toronto Marlies make this trade? According to insider Kyle Cushman, the Marlies were in urgent need of more depth in the lineup, and Baddock perfectly fits that profile. Toronto adds Brandon Baddock from Rockford for future considerations. A physical winger standing 6 feet 3 inches with 7 points and 86 PIMs in 38 games, Cushman reported. But the most notable characteristic is his aggressive playing style. Baddock not only commands respect on the ice, but also brings a defensive presence that could help the Marlies become more competitive in the AHL playoffs. And this move makes even more sense when looking at the Toronto Marlies' current form. The team has struggled to hold leads, especially against physical opponents. Baddock's arrival could be the solution to this problem. The trade didn't just surprise fans, it also caught the Rockford Ice Hogs team off guard, as they had to part ways with a beloved player both on and off the ice. General Manager Mark Bernard made sure to thank Baddock for his contributions to the franchise. I want to thank Brandon and his family for all their contributions on and off the ice over the past 2 seasons. Brandon and his wife Hannah have made an incredible impact in the Rockford community from the moment they arrived. With the roster restrictions we've faced this season due to the league's veteran rule, I wanted to give Brandon an opportunity to play night in and night out. This shows that beyond being a physical presence on the ice, Baddock was also a respected figure in the organization, helping the team behind the scenes and strengthening the locker room. Now, the big question is, how will he be used in Toronto? Head coach John Gruden has already made it clear that he wants a more physical and tougher team to play against. Baddock could play a crucial role in this system, especially in high-stakes games against direct rivals in the standings. Additionally, the Marlies have been dealing with injuries, and adding an experienced player could bring the stability needed for the AHL playoffs. But it doesn't stop there. What can we expect from Baddock in the future? For fans who don't know much about Brandon Baddock, it's worth noting that he was drafted by the New Jersey Devils 161st overall in 2014. Since then, he has built a solid AHL career, always standing out for his intensity and enforcer role on the ice. And here's an interesting detail. With his contract expiring at the end of the season, Baddock could be playing for a renewal. If he performs well, it wouldn't be surprising to see him signing a new deal with the Marlies, or even getting a shot with the Toronto Maple Leafs next season. But before any speculation, all eyes are now on his debut with the Toronto Marlies. The team takes the ice Saturday against the Charlotte Checkers, and expectations are that Baddock will already be part of the rotation. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think this was a good move for the Marlies? Could Baddock be a difference maker in the final stretch of the season? Leave your comment. And if you want more analysis like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on the Toronto Maple Leafs and their affiliates. Also, check out this other video on the screen right now, because there's another big news story you can't miss.